you are a busy professional over 30 and you're wondering why it's getting so hard to lose weight, your problem is not discipline. But somewhere along the way, the things that I used to work stop working. You eat a little better, you try to exercise when you can, and yet the scale barely moves. And this is where things start to break down. Workouts start feeling optional, alcohol feels earned, and every small decision starts favoring convenience over intention. Not because you don't care, but because your nervous system is overloaded. And the dangerous part is that this compounds over time, because weight gain never comes from one catastrophic decision. It comes from hundreds of tiny energy-saving behaviors repeated for years. In my experience, there are usually two major reasons professionals over 30 struggle with weight loss. The first problem is decision fatigue. Your brain's primary goal is not fitness, it's not aesthetics, and it's definitely not getting abs. Your brain's primary wants conserve energy, reduce uncertainty, avoid stress, and keep you functioning tomorrow. And that becomes a much bigger problem when your workload goes up. The answer is building a system that works when life gets busy. Your system shall survive overtime, poor sleep, travel, stress. Let's start with the exercise protocol. Instead of trying to train 6 days a week, your minimum becomes 4 workouts per week, 20 minutes, full body, even when tired. And you can argue that sounds simple, but simple systems survive pressure, and survival matters more than optimization. You might hear that the best approach is 3 60-minute workouts per week, but I have a different approach, because if your goal is effortless results, the real goal isn't finding the perfect workout plan. It's making your brain want to do the workout. For me, building momentum is more important than building the perfect program. You don't need motivation to do those things anymore. They are automatic. That's what we are trying to create with exercise. That's why I recommend 4 workouts per week, 20 minutes each. Not because 20 minutes is magically better, because it's easier to start. Think about it. What sounds easier? 1 hour workout or a quick 20-minute session? Many days, those 20 minutes turn into 30, sometimes even more, because the hardest part was never the workout. The hardest part was getting started. Now let's talk about what to do during those 20 minutes. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a perfect split. You don't need a fancy program. Just focus on a full body workouts. Every session should include some strength workout, some movement that gets your heart rate up, and exercise for your legs, upper body, and core. That's it. There are hundreds of great 15 to 20 minutes workouts here on YouTube. Pick one and begin, because the goal right now isn't the perfect plan. The goal is building a habit that still exists 6 months from now. The same applies to nutrition. Instead of perfect macros, cooking every meal of the week, and waste all the food, your minimum becomes using a default breakfast. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people trying to make the perfect food decisions every single morning. That's a lot of thinking before the day has even started. So instead, I use a default breakfast system that you can copy. So let me share with you my 3 breakfast options. Let me open Notion. I open the Coach Experience page. Inside my system down below, I have a database with meals that I already know taste great and support weight loss. So if I open it right here, I can simply filter for breakfast options. No guessing, no searching, no decision fatigue. Just pick one and moves on. For example, this is one of my favorites. Scrambled eggs with ham and avocado. Around 500 calories and 44 grams of protein. You only need 3 large eggs, 80 grams of ham, about a third of avocado, and a teaspoon of olive oil. Salt and pepper, maybe some parsley if you want. Simple. Takes just a few minutes. Another option is avocado toast. Again, about 500 calories and 44 grams of protein. 1 slice of sourdough bread, quarter avocado, 1 whole egg, 150 grams of egg whites, and a few cherry tomatoes. That's it. No complicated recipe, no chef skill required. And if you prefer something sweet, I have protein oatmeal. About 480 calories and 45 grams of protein. Half a cup of oats, water or unsweetened almond milk, 1 scoop of protein powder, a tablespoon of almonds, and a little cinnamon or vanilla extract. 3 breakfasts, 3 proven options. And that's exactly the point. I don't want to spend my mornings deciding what to eat. I want a system that makes the decision for me, because the less energy you spend making good choices, the easier it becomes to make them consistently. Next, reduce your liquid calories, because drinking calories is one of the easiest ways to overeat without realizing it. You can drink a regular soda and add 200 calories without feeling any fuller. Now, do that every day for a month. Those calories add up fast. Switch to zero sugar or diet version. You get almost the same experience for almost none of the calories. In fact, you probably burn more calories opening the can. And finally, one of the most important rules. 1 controlled indulgence per day maximum. You want the burger at lunch? Have the burger. Enjoy it. But don't let 1 indulgence turn into a full day of indulgences. The burger turns into the ice cream turns into the late night snacks, and suddenly a single meal becomes a 3,000 calorie day. The mindset I want you to avoid is, well, today is ruined. I'll start again tomorrow. Instead, tell yourself, the meal is over, my next choice still matters. Because one meal never makes you overweight, and one healthy meal never makes you fit. That alone dramatically improves body composition over time, because sustainable nutrition beats perfect nutrition. And sleep doesn't need to become perfect either. Your minimum could simply be consistent wake-up time, figure screens before bed, grab your phone, go to settings, the option named display and brightness. You go down here and you can find a night shift. I schedule mine from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. I usually go to bed at 10 p.m. So if I need to watch my phone the last 3 hours before going to sleep, I have this activated. To move the color temperature, the ideal is more warm because this means less blue light. The color change can be difficult at first, so find the sweet spot until your eyes adapt. That's enough to improve appetite regulation, recovery, energy, and cravings. And this is important because most professionals don't need a harder plan. They need a more survival one. But even a realistic system can still fail for one reason: too many decisions. Decision fatigue destroys consistency. So the goal is not more things to do, it's fewer decisions. The less thinking required, the more adherence improves. Because behavior becomes easier when the brain stops negotiating every choice. This improves efficiency, but not sustainability. This comes from reducing cognitive friction, and that's where many professionals finally regain consistency. So if you're a busy professional with no time and really want to simplify everything, you can lose up to 8 pounds in the next 4 weeks with a system that does everything for you. And for free, I left the link in the description. Reducing decision fatigue helps a lot. But many professionals still struggle even after improving their routines. Because the problem isn't just behavior, it's nervous system overload. One of the biggest hidden effects of chronic stress is that it changes what your brain wants. When you are stressed for long periods of time, your brain starts looking for faster and faster forms of relief. Not because you're lazy, because you are tired, mentally tired, emotionally tired, and your brain is trying to recover. That's why after a long day, a salad really sounds exciting, but takeout does. A workout feels difficult, but the couch feels amazing. The more stressed you become, the more your brain starts chasing things that provide quick comfort and quick reward. Sugar, alcohol, highly processed foods, anything that makes you feel better right now. Many professionals are not physically exhausted, they are cognitively and emotionally exhausted, and that distinction matters. You can sit all day and still feel deeply depleted because your attention was fragmented, your emotions were suppressed. This creates nervous system fatigue, and the nervous system fatigue often produces cravings, procrastination, emotional eating, low motivation, and this is why smart professionals feel exhausted despite working efficiently. The long-term cost isn't productivity, it's clarity. Because even this can change with the right approach. Stop treating recovery like a reward. Busy professionals often think, I'll rest when everything is done, but everything is never done. Recovery is not the reward for hard work, recovery is part of the work. Your goal is to reduce the amount of time your body spends in a continually elevated stress state. For weight loss especially, this matters because chronic stress tends to increase hunger, cravings, impulse eating, sleep disruption, and recovery demands. And how? Before you start your day, you need to avoid any information input. No news, no LinkedIn, no social media at least 1 hour. After you end one task completely, you stand up, get away from the desk, and take 5 deep breaths.
And this leads to another major issue: constant stimulation.
Many professionals spend the entire day consuming inputs, emails, Slacks, social media, notifications. The nervous system never fully settles. Then at night the brain starts demanding relief. Sometimes the issue is not hunger, it's overstimulation fatigue. And what it feels so impossible to stop? That's because most of us assume that we are seeking information. Often, we are seeking one of the 3 things: relief from boredom, relief from uncertainty, and relief from stress, which is why the moment there is an empty space, your hands move before you consciously decide anything. Because you think that you need information, the reality is that you need stimulation. And all of this happened because the executive illusion. I need to stay informed. Let's be honest about the math. Suppose you check LinkedIn 15 times, news 10 times, and an email 40 times. During a workday, do you become 65 times more informed? Of course not. Most of the information is repetitive. The same headliners, the same AI news, the same leadership content. You are consuming updates, not acquiring knowledge. Replace stimulation with intentional stimulation. And this sounds counterintuitive. But the goal isn't to find better content. The goal is to spend a small portions of the day with less input than you are comfortable with. No fun in elevators, just stand there for 30 seconds. At least one daily walk with no podcast, no audiobook, no calls, no music, no news. Instead of unlimited checking, put yourself some adjectives: news, 15 minutes once per day. LinkedIn, 10 minutes twice per day. And social media, predetermined windows only. No random checking, not just a quick look, the screen boundaries around information consumption. But even all the subtle changes can give you zero results if you are not capable to see the trap behind this. That's because most of the people have an outdated mental model of what distraction looks like. When executives imagine wasting an hour on social media, they picture someone sitting on a couch scrolling for 60 uninterrupted minutes. That's not how modern distraction works. 2 minutes waiting for a meeting, 4 minutes in an elevator, 3 minutes after lunch, 5 minutes before boarding a flight, 2 minutes in the bathroom, 4 minutes after a difficult conversation, 3 minutes before bed, because we spend all these times on our phone. None of these moments feel significant, but the brain experiences the cumulative effect. What's fascinating is that the actual cost is usually much larger than the screen time report. 3-minute interruption rarely costs only 3 minutes. Many short times compounds at the end of the day when you hit 1 hour of more. Executives are trained to notice large expenses, and humans are notoriously bad at detecting the small recurring costs, the same reason people underestimate calories, subscriptions, fees, commuting time. They underestimate attention leakage, and the worst thing ever, when people first look at their phone statistics, they often focus on total time. That means your brain is being invited into different contexts every few minutes. The professionals who stay lean after 30 are usually not the most disciplined. They are the ones who learn how to reduce friction, protect their recovery, and stop fighting their nervous system every day. Because long-term weight loss is rarely about intensity. It's about building a lifestyle your brain can consistently support. And once you understand that, weight loss stops feeling like a constant battle against yourself. But here's something interesting. Everything we talk about today, stress, recovery, sleep, cravings, and daily habits, doesn't just affect where you lose weight. It also affects where your body stores fat. And that's where things get even more risky. Because one of the fat is much more dangerous than the fat that you can see in the mirror. The fat that is built around your organs is called visceral fat. And if you've been struggling with a stubborn belly fat, understanding visceral fat can completely change your lose weight journey. That's exactly what I break down in this video right here.